kind words and for Ray. And it's funny when I come on to a call like this, sometimes I'm just listening and you guys nail me. Today, of course, I was listening and you nailed me a couple days ago, but I committed to come on because I really, there's a lot of things to talk about, and you can say a lot, but if it falls on deaf ears, there are none so blind as those who will not see. You've heard that saying, and we have many people that are that way in this world, and so we're working with a numbers game. And I think the other day it was Marianne that was saying that she remembers something I said about recruiting and getting new distributors, and this is saying I've said for a long time. And think about this for a second. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? And that's the attitude you should have, because understand that most of the people you talk to about a product or about a business opportunity will not want to do it. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with what we have. And I think with you here, you'd all be convinced that what we have is really right and sensational, but they can't see it, and they're letting other things cloud their vision with what's there. So your business, in building your business, is to create change and facilitate success of your distributors. So the thing you've got to do is get those distributors to realize that unless they do something different than what they are doing, they're in a state of perhaps they think they're treading water and moving along okay and content with their lifestyle, but there'll be a time it'll be like sliding something across the top of a table and then it goes over the edge. That's what's going to happen to most people. About over 95% of all the population, at least here in the United States, according to statistics, retire at or below the poverty level. And what does that mean? It means you spent your whole life working for somebody else's future is what it means. And it means you sold yourself out. Because what you did, and I don't mean that in a negative way, I mean it in a thought-provoking way. Because you sold yourself out because you didn't realize when you trade your time for dollars, you're working for somebody else's future, not yours. And the way that other companies make their money is that they trade their time for other people's time who get it done, and that is the Walmart story, or any big organization that's there. If you went to Microsoft or IBM or any of those, there's one president at the top. There's a board maybe, and president, CEO, president, and then there's vice presidents, and then from there, managers, regional managers, and see, it triangularly shapes downward. So if somebody says this is a pyramid, you can tell them, so is almost all business, unless you're a one-man band. All business is in a triangular shape because that's the way that it has to work with it, and to be efficient, because you don't want to work 10 hours and get paid $10 an hour, for example. That's $100. Then that's what you've done. You've been paid for what you did. But if you take that 10 hours, whether it be over a week or two, whatever it is, and if you put it into recruiting other people and getting other people's time, now what you're going to do is now you have people that will start to work. And if you show them that they must create change or they're going to be vulnerable to what happens to almost everyone, you're not going to get lucky. Publisher Clearinghouse is not going to call you and tell you have a lifetime income. You're going to get to the point of where now you're expendable. Your company doesn't need you any longer. You're too old. Or things happen with the company. It's bad judgment on the company's part, and they collapse. And you see, where's Kodak today? At one time, Kodak had all the film, but technology's changed, and they're gone with that. And that's just one example of many with what it is. So here you are, and I'm glad everyone that's on the phone, I think most of you are distributors there, you have the vision. But your idea of having the vision, yes, you should do some fundamentals. Number one is be your own best customer. and do not do your minimum. You ought to write this down, that you're not going to do your minimum to qualify. You're going to use all the products that we carry that you're already using and replace the ones that you're buying somewhere else. You see, people get motivated with some products, and this is the way that many big companies came and went. If you look at, and I can use some recent examples with there, I talked the other day, look at Monavie. They had an acai berry. They were $1 billion company. Just everyone was raving about them, and where are they now? They're out of business. How about Zango? I remember when Zango was raging on mangosteen juice, and where are they now? They're $1 billion company. Now they're nothing. They're gone with that kind of thing. And the list goes on and on. I know a big company, and I'm making a point on this. I know a large company that, and these companies that are collapsing are binaries, because binaries really can't last, because pretty soon it's almost like liberalism or socialism. Pretty soon they run out of other people's money to spend. And that's what a binary is. The binary is one of the big evils that's come into this, but the concept is, oh, you only have to get one person and build a second leg. We give you a leg. But that kind of thing, it sounds good, but doesn't make sense, because this is a numbers game. If you get one that got two, each one of them got two, look where your multiples are. But do it in fives and see where you're at. And that's the power of this business, because not only do we play the game, if you call it a game, this is a life's game, and an important one, but we play the game of trading time for dollars, but then we don't do it with arithmetic, just plain old addition and subtraction. We do it with multiplication. And that's why multi-level marketing has such power, because you can multiply your income from you working with a person. Just like DW said today, they increased their volume in his organization this year by $300,000. Well, and it ain't over. We're only half over for the year. So, yeah, that's pretty impressive. But DW didn't do that. Bacini's didn't do that. Yes, they were an important part of it because their leadership, but the people and generally throughout the company are the ones that are really doing it, because you're limited by your time. So if you just simply recruited and put all the distributors first level to you wouldn't have much with it. I know a person once that recruited 130 some first level distributors, and they quit. They said they can't make it in this business. It doesn't work for them. Well, they had 130 first level people, but how about if they had arranged those in multiplication and had each one benefiting on the efforts of others that are underneath them? Then that's a strong motivation for them to get more and to do more, and that's what's happening in DW's downline. The leadership is what you should be doing. You should be creating change. You need to get the people to change what they're doing so they can have what they don't have. And that's the important thing. Once you do that, then you have to facilitate their success. This is not a love them and leave them business. This is a business that you get what you want. And the beautiful thing about it is you don't do it at competition with others. You do it by helping other people to get what they want. This is a serious win-win situation. So we've got everything right there. And this big company that I was talking about a little bit earlier, I just heard yesterday that they had their annual convention. Well, in just a couple of years, their attendance was 20-some thousand, I believe, 2 years ago. Last year it was 12,000. This year it's 4,000. And yet they're a very big company. You would know the name, but what's happened to the company? Well, it's shrinking because they're a binary to start with, and they're running out of new people to come in because the people at the bottom are not making money. They can't find the people to come in, and they don't have upline success. Uplines are simply motivating them by saying, look how much money I've made. You can get in, you can do it. This is a hands-on business. You should be, you should be willing to work many levels deep to help somebody. But it's not just pontificating. It's a matter of getting in and doing tangible things to help people. Because you need to understand, it's just like raising children. When you have a child, they don't know a lot of the things that you know, that you train them on how to do, and their skill levels improve. If you didn't, as we see in society today, probably the biggest factor for the deterioration of our society in America and in the world, in my opinion, and that of many others, I can tell you, is the deterioration of the family. And when you have single parent families, that is very difficult because the burden on the parent is so great, and they can't be the father and the mother to them and earn the living and do all those other things. So children are not directed, they're not guided, they don't have role models necessarily in many cases. Now, certainly they do, and thank God for mothers, because they're the ones that make things possible. But fathers steer the course and show the strength and reinforcement and setting goals, just as mothers do. And so together, one and one becomes very successful in a marriage. But when it's only one, the burden doubles on them, and the children don't get the things that they need, and so they grow up in a helter-skelter fashion, and they don't know how to go after. Look at the millennial generation with what's going on right now. There's a great potential there, but because of largely parenting and our society and two incomes and all those things, they've not learned what really needs to be done, and they have to go through a lot of experience to find it. But they have more resources, and if you talk to the millennials, and think about this, we need to get millennials in the company because they can be the big growth factor for us. You just have to learn how to work and realize they haven't had the same guidance and support that many of us has had that have grown up in a different type of society, a more family-oriented one. So you've got to intervene and show them and create the change, and then help them to facilitate their success. And if you do, it's a tremendous market out there with them, and we're getting a number of them coming in, and the ones whose eyes are open and seeing to do it are really doing well. And it's almost like coming out of the darkness into the light, and they say, wow, and away they go. So there's resources out there to do. And so if you don't know how to deal with a millennial, guess how you do it? You learn how to do it. And it's not that difficult. It's just like Generation X or Y or the baby boomers or all those things. Every generation has its own particular nuances. And so you work with those factors that are there for them. If you're 25 or 30 years old, what are you looking for? If you're 60 years old, what are you looking for? It's quite different between the two with it. But the difference from 30 to 60 is your productive years. And if you worked a job, just over broke job, then where are you going to be at retirement? You're going to be driving that new car you bought 20 years ago for the rest of your life. And that you see that all over the highways. You see these older couples in a car that's in very good condition, but it's 20 or 30 years old because they retired out of below the poverty level and they can't afford anything different. But with this one, I don't care how old you are. I mean, you could be as old as DW and you can still get a car from the company. We'll give you a car. All you have to do is just simply do what needs to be done, and you can have what you want. You can have what others don't because they won't. So this big company that I talked about with the low attendance now at their convention is starting to really tremble, and I think they'll be going down very quickly with what we see. But they came to us. They don't make their own products. And they came to us and they wanted us to, they had a weight loss, meal replacement, like our Sisel in purpose, but not like it in chemistry. And they came in and said, our product isn't working very well, the one we have, and we'd like you to, because we do private label business at Supra, but trust me, your Sisel products are safe. We do it on other technologies. A lot of people want what we have. We tell them, number one, let's not even talk about it because you can't afford it. these products cost too much, and the way that you market, you can't afford to pay that much. We do make it, so we have that profit. We are debt-free, so we have that profit, and therefore we can invest a lot more in products than you can afford to buy. But with our company, we come out about a push with where you'd be if you bought them somewhere else. But you have products that are not mediocre or really non-functional. You have products that are enormously successful. So out of that, this company came in, and so our lab went to work, and we know quite a bit about things in weight loss or other. And so they put, this isn't my work, but I'm president, of course, and owner with my son Tom Jr. But so I was sort of involved with what they were doing, and they were a considerable account. So we went to quite a bit of work, and they had a research and development director. While they're not a manufacturer, they would go and see about quality control. And he came to our plant for a number of times. We worked with the product. We gave it to him. He was just right on the way to the moon. He was so excited about what the formulation we had done and how vastly superior it was to what he was selling, which happened to be soy-based, which we would never do that. But anyway, so we went back and talked to the management. They tested it. Oh, they all loved it. And then we come together and we told him what it would cost to do it. He was fine with it. He took it back. He says, we'll get the approval. Well, he didn't get the approval. And he came back and he told us, they said, no, we're going to stick with the formulation we got. This one's too expensive. Does that shock you? That absolutely shocked me. Here you find something, they're unhappy with their formulation, and we would private label them a different formulation, of course, than ours, but one that was way superior to what they had that would work. And they need it, and they wanted it, but they won't take it because it costs too much. So we'll stick with our own old formula that doesn't work well. Now, do you understand why they're collapsing like the others are? Because the products can't stand on its own merit. Noni juice, it became a big company. Noni's juice, I say, is slightly better than nothing. I made Noni juice for my other company because I had to do it to compete with what they're doing. And my Noni juice was better than their Noni juice, and both of them, I don't even carry Noni juice. I only did it to compete, but I had a better way of Noni. But if you bought Noni, yeah, that was because the market was there, and we're doing it for the distributor force. But once the bloom was off the rose, we dropped Noni because you get nothing from nothing, so to speak. There's a mild effect, but it is so insignificant. And then acai berry, it's an antioxidant. And they're telling you all these great things that it, antioxidants have power, but there's a lot of difference in power. It's all based on, like vitamin C, it has antioxidant power of 1. So if something has an antioxidant power of 10, that means it's 10 times as powerful as vitamin C with it. Well, you take a look at a product like acai, and it's probably, I don't remember exactly, 15 or 18. So 15, 18 times better than vitamin C, but antioxidants are more broad spectrum, so I don't want to get into all that because I'm going to lead you into a couple of other things here real quick. But I'm trying to show you that one of the important things in selling is find a need, okay? How many people want to make more money? How many people want to lose weight? How many people don't want to grow older? How many people want to regenerate their health? How many people want energy? How many people want to improve their brain and keep it from deteriorating, and eyes and heart and everything else? We got all those answers, and the answers are here. But with when it comes to antioxidants, we've got antioxidant power of 500 and 600 in some of our ingredients, but we don't have a one ingredient antioxidant like these others do, because there's 2,000 groups of free radicals. Those are oxidizers that antioxidants neutralize. And an antioxidant will work in one group, but not in another. So here we have SpectraMax with about 40 of them in. And some of these have that huge antioxidant power that just seems like it's right off the charts. And that's SpectraMax. So I use that as an illustration with what we're doing. Now, the last point I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about, we just had an FDA audit.